Hello everybody, I'm Thomas. Welcome back to another video. This time I'm back with a solo playthrough of The Search for Planet X, the space logic and deduction game. I recently got this game and I'm very excited to do a playthrough of it here today. So, The Search for Planet X is a logic and space deduction game that's also app assisted. I got recommended this game a lot because I gave high praise to Turing Machine, and I can see why people recommended it so much. It is a great game, and I've really been enjoying playing it so far. So, the goal of the game is you're searching for Planet X. The map is divided up into these 12 different sectors, in which I have a little player board here. There is an expert mode if you flip the map over. I'm not playing that today, but there's just more sectors, essentially. Each sector can only have one object in it, and there's a number of different objects. There are 2 comets, 4 asteroids, 1 dwarf planet, 2 gas clouds, 1 planet X, and 2 truly empty spaces. So the goal of the game is to try to find Planet X, and along the way also trying to figure out what else is in other sectors, and you can submit research to get extra points for getting correct locations of objects. So there are certain rules for where certain items can appear, certain objects can appear. So for example, comets can only appear in certain sectors. Prime numbers is the sectors they can appear in. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, or 7 and 11. So you can kind of see here that it's maybe a bit small, but yeah, the comets are only in those sectors. Asteroids are adjacent to at least one other asteroid. So essentially, since there's 4, they're either going to appear in 2 groups of 2 or 1 group of 4. The dwarf planet is not going to be adjacent to Planet X. Gas clouds are always going to be at least adjacent to at least one truly empty sector. Planet X will not be adjacent to a dwarf planet. It will appear empty though. So throughout searching, essentially the board will have 3 different empty sectors. 2 of them will be truly empty. 1 of them will be Planet X. And then the last thing about truly empty sectors is, that there's only 2 that are truly empty, but there's going to be 3 empty sectors on the board. 1 of them will be Planet X. And so the game consists of players going back and forth, doing different actions. They get 1 action per turn to try to find Planet X. So I'll quickly go over the actions. There's not too many, and they're pretty straightforward. The first one, and the main one that you'll be doing throughout the game, is called surveying, where you can choose a range of sectors. You can just choose 1 if you want to, or you can choose up to, I think, as many as there are, because you have to choose spots visible in the night sky. So the center of this board rotates, and only half the sky is visible at a time. And those are the only that half the side you can do most actions with. So you can survey, I guess, up to 6 in this case. If you wanted to survey the entire visible night sky, you can. Or you could just survey 1 if you want to. And there's different time costs depending on which action you take. On the outside of this player board, there is a little tracker to track your player pawns. And so whenever you take an action, you move your player pawn however many action time spots you need. So, for example, if you just want to survey 1, 2, or 3 sectors, that costs you 4 times. So if I'm starting at 1, I'd move to the 5. If I'm just surveying 4, 5, or 6, then it costs 1 less, only costing 3 times. So I'd move to 4. So player pawns will move around the board doing different stuff. And what survey does essentially is you choose 1 object, and you use the app for this, because I did mention this is app assisted. So a lot of this stuff is through the app. You'll select an object, the sectors you want to survey, and the app will tell you how many of that objects are in that sector range. So for example, if I'm searching from sector 1 to sector 4, I want to search for asteroids. I would punch that in, and then the app would say, oh, there's 1 asteroid in this range, or there's no asteroids, or whatever the result is, it'll tell you. And there's spots on this little player board to write your action and the result, so you can kind of keep track of all that stuff. Of course, there's symbols on each sector, so you can cross stuff out along the way. So if you do a survey 1 through 4, it comes back 0 asteroids, and you can go through and just kind of cross off asteroids in each of those sectors, because they're not there. One of the other actions you can do is called targeting, where you can target a single sector And with the app, you kind of will get back an exact result of what's in that sector. It does cost 1 of your target tokens, and you can only do this twice per game. It costs 4 time to do that. So it's a little bit more expensive in action. You are kind of limited in the amount you can do it, but it is useful to do. And then the final main action you can do throughout the game is called research. So when the game is generated, which I will go through that on the app here in a second, you'll have a couple of different research options that will be given to you that you can research throughout the game. Each one only costs 1 time to do so, and it'll give you a little piece of information regarding an object or a set of objects. So you might get some information regarding gas clouds, or maybe you might get some information regarding how asteroids and comets interact with each other. So you might be like, oh, there's at least 1 comet next to an asteroid. Or for the gas clouds, you might get something like all gas clouds are within a band of 4 sectors, something like that. So research is a pretty handy thing, gets you some good info. So those are kind of the main 3 actions. You can survey, you can target, and you can research. The main thing to know is research you cannot do back-to-back twice in a row, so you have to kind of spread that out. There is a final action, which is locating Planet X, and you're pretty much only gonna do that once, or maybe if you're feeling lucky, you might have to do it multiple times if you're trying to do it early on or something. And it's a most expensive action. It costs 5 time to do so, and essentially that's the action you do to try to end the game to find Planet X. And to do that, you have to essentially know which sector Planet X is in, and then you also have to know what's adjacent to it. So if I think Planet X is in Sector 5, I also have to enter in what I think Sector 4 is and what Sector 6 is. You have to be correct in everything. So that's how you kind of end the game. So those are the main actions. After a player goes, they'll move their pawn however spots they need to. And then there's 2 more kind of small things that happen on a player's turn. I guess after you do that, the last thing you kind of do is then just rotate the Earth's board. So the night sky will always rotate to where the arrow kind of points to the player that's in the last spot. So if I go first, I move to 4, player board does not move. But then this is for the AI. Once the AI goes, let's say they end up on space 5, and then this rotates all the way around to be kind of in behind the sector that the last player is in. And so that's how turn order is also determined, is whichever player is farthest back on the time track, which in this case would be me, then I could go again. I could take 1 action, end up here, and then I'm in front of them now, so then the player board would rotate, and then since they're further back, they would get to go, so on and so forth. So the turn orders can kind of change, but it's always just who's furthest in the back. The other thing to note is when this board rotates, there's a couple symbols on the board. There is this paper-looking one, where that activates what's called the theory phase, where each player can submit some theories on what they think is in each sector, and that's what these tokens are here for. So if I think, I think there's an asteroid in sector 2, you flip it face down and put it there. The bot will also have a chance to submit a theory. That's all taken care of through the app. You just kind of have to do it yourself. That's why the yellow tokens are here. That's kind of a neutral player, so whenever they submit a theory, it'll go, and then once theories are revealed, then I'll actually put their player color there. But essentially, once a theory is placed, it's moved, all theories are moved down 1 as part of the theory phase. So you place theories, and then all theories move in 1. So then the next time a theory phase comes up, let's say I think, dwarf planet is in spot 4, bot places theirs, this moves in 1, this moves in 1. Once a theory reaches the final space on the inside, that's when peer review is conducted. Also through the app, you go to the peer review section, you select sector 2, and I'll be like, okay, sector 2, I thought it was an asteroid. Am I correct? And the app will tell you whether you are correct or not. If you're correct, great. You know where something is, but now all the other players know that as well. If you're wrong, you just have to move forward on the time track once. So there's a couple of those symbols for the theory phase around the board. So that'll happen each time the Earth passes over a sector that has that. The other symbol is right here in sector 10, and that triggers the Planet X conference. So there's a little bit of a line below your research for conference notes. And essentially at the beginning of the game, it will tell us what the Planet X conference will be relating to. So it's usually Planet X plus another object. So it might be Planet X plus asteroids. And then once this passes here, you'll get a little bit of information regarding Planet X's relation to asteroids. So it might be that Planet X is the opposite of an asteroid, or Planet X is not adjacent to an asteroid. Some little bit of information regarding Planet X and some other object. Besides that, that's pretty much it. So you just keep going around, players do their turn, submitting research, doing surveys, targeting sectors until someone finds Planet X. Once that happens, the player who didn't find Planet X will get one last turn to either try to find Planet X, or they can submit 2 theories for sectors around the board. That's pretty much it. At the end of the game, you score points. You get 1 point per sector that you were the first person to submit theories on. You get 2 points per asteroid theory, 3 points per comet, 4 points for each gas cloud, and 4 points for each dwarf planet theory you've correctly submitted. You also get points for how soon you find Planet X. If you're the first person, you get 10, and then it kind of just goes down from there. And that's pretty much it. There is an AI player. The app takes care of most of it, so I'll just kind of show you along the way. Yeah, let me quickly reset this and we'll get started. So I've got the app pulled up on my phone. There is also a website for this, and I think it's available on iOS, Android. There's a website, so it's pretty easily accessible. At the bottom left, there's a start solo game, so I'll click that. Start new solo game, standard mode, start. It gives me a game code, which I'll go ahead and write down. Okay, now there are 4 different player boards, and I have the wrong one, so give me 1 second. Essentially, for which, or maybe I do have the right one. Yeah, it's for whichever side you're closest to. Kind of just orients you around the board, and you just have to punch it into the app. So since I'm sitting near the sun side with like 12 and 1 at the top, I select summer solstice. Now there's different difficulty modes. Let me rewrite the game code before I forget. C8D7. Yeah, there's 3 different difficulty modes. Depending on which one you choose, you'll get a number of hints or facts at the beginning of which sectors don't have certain objects. There's beginner, experienced, and genius. I'm still pretty new to this game, so I will just keep on playing beginner because that's what I've been doing. So view starting information, and as you can see here, I get 8 facts about different sectors and what objects are at least not in that sector. So for example, first hint is we know there's not a dwarf planet in sector 2, we know there's not a gas cloud in sector 4, not a gas cloud in sector 5, so forth. So I will quickly draw these and kind of just scribble them out on my board. All right, so here's that all updated. The game recommends that you do some sort of different marking to kind of signify these initial facts, and then you use some other markings throughout the game as you're kind of deducing what's not there. So for these initial ones, I kind of just drew a square, kind of circled it, colored it in, and then throughout the game, when I'll be like kind of eliminating options, I'll just put an X through it. So I know that X is stuff that I've kind of deduced during the game, while squares stuff is just kind of set in stone. It's guaranteed to be right. So the X is, stuff that could be wrong because that's assumptions I'm making. Now we go to start game, and we get all the different research options and the conference options. So you can see research is stuff like dwarf planets and asteroids, comet and asteroids, gas clouds and asteroids, gas clouds and dwarf comets, dwarf planets and gas clouds, and the Planet X conference will be Planet X and gas clouds. So let me quickly jot these on my little player board. Okay, and also I kind of just did abbreviations for a lot of these because there's not a lot of room at the bottom, and I'll be doing that throughout the game, but hopefully it makes sense. I did DP for dwarf planet, A for asteroid, C for comet, GC for gas cloud. I think that's pretty much it. So we go to continue, and now we're ready to actually start the game. So I start first. I have quite a few options. What I like doing first off is normally there's, I don't know how many research options, there's 6. Normally, I think most games, at least how I play, I never do more than 2, maybe 3 research options. So I'm going to kind of look at these real fast, figure out which ones I'd like to do, and then I'm going to do 1 research as my first turn. Okay, so this is kind of how I think, is that since I know the Planet X conference will give me information about gas clouds, I should try to learn all I can about gas clouds. So I think the first thing I'll research is gas clouds and asteroids, especially because asteroids are the most numerous. They're easiest to find, so that'll help me kind of deduce stuff down. Next, I'll probably look at dwarf planets and gas clouds, because dwarf planets kind of hard to find. Once again, gas clouds probably gonna be important to find planet X. The last one, if I have time, will be gas clouds and comets. So let me go ahead and click research, and I will start with research C, which is gas clouds and asteroids. And we learn, let me move my pawn forward 1, that every gas cloud is within 3 sectors of an asteroid, which I don't know if that's the most helpful research, if I'm being honest, especially depending on where the gas clouds are and where the asteroids are. It might not be that helpful, but it is what it is. So now the bot is further back. I didn't have to rotate the night sky at all. So we do bot take a turn, and it tells me exactly what they're doing. So the bot surveys for asteroids in sectors 1 through 6. Now, important thing to note is I get to know that, what they do on their turn, but what I obviously don't know is the result. So I know they did a survey 1 through 6 of asteroids, but what I don't know is how many asteroids they actually found. So at least I get some info to work with. So if I see them start submitting theories and they haven't looked at anything else for 1 through 6, then I can assume, okay, well, they know where some asteroids are. So I will quickly write that down over here in the blank space. And then I move the bot AI's player marker to spot 4. And then since the night sky now needs to rotate, it rotates over to me. We did not pass any theories markers on the board, so back to my turn. And I think I'm going to do a survey. This is just a reminder that you can only survey what's available in the night sky, which right now is 2 through 7. So let me look at what I'd like to survey. I'm probably going to also do an asteroid survey, but probably not as wide as they did it. So yeah, I think I will research asteroids, and I'll survey them in sectors 4 through sector 7. So let me quickly write that down before I see what I get. All right. And there are 2, apparently. Let me quickly move my pawn over to spot number 5, and I can write the result that there are 2. So that's good to know. What I normally do is I just draw a little dot next to stuff that has a possibility of being it. So obviously in sectors 4 through 7, we know that 2 of the 4 asteroids there will be in one of those sectors, I guess. And we know that they're going to be like adjacent. So it's either going to be 4 and 5, 5 and 6, or 6 and 7 are kind of the 3 main options. Yeah, we obviously don't know at the moment which one, but at least it gives us something to work with. So that was it for my turn. This moves 1 and 2. That passed a theory icon. So now we're to a spot where we can submit theories. Obviously, right now, I do not have pretty much any information. But the only penalty for making an incorrect guess is losing 1 time, which I think is worth the penalty to just make buckshot guesses, because if you're right, then that's some good info to have. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to guess Sector 6 has an asteroid. That is my theory. And we click bot submit theory to see if they submit a theory, and they don't. So everybody has submitted their theories. Theories move in 1, and that's it for the theory phase. A quick thing I will note, and this is kind of an important thing to note with the bot, is they will not submit theories unless they are correct. They will only submit theories that they know for a fact are correct, which is good for me to know, because I can use that as information for myself. Because I know if they submit a theory for Sector 10, for example, well, then I know for a fact that Sector 10 is not an empty sector and it's not Planet X. And then I can also look at, well, if they just surveyed dwarf planets in Sector 10 and they haven't done anything else, then I also can deduce that has to be a dwarf planet. So paying attention to what the bot submits is really helpful. But with that out of the way, it is now back to the bot's turn. So let's see what they're doing for their turn number 2. They are surveying asteroids in sectors 4 through 8. So they move up to sector 7. This moves forward 1, and it's back to my turn. I think I'm going to do another research, and I will research the dwarf planets and gas clouds to see what's going on there. And we learn the dwarf planet is not within 2 sectors of a gas cloud. I move forward 1, And let me write that down. Okay, so that will give us some good information once we actually start finding some gas clouds, which is probably what I'm gonna start searching for next. So this moves forward 1 again. And that's still my turn because I'm at the back of the turn order. And like I just kind of alluded to, I'm gonna search for gas clouds, but let me think about where. Okay, I'm going to survey gas clouds in sectors 8 through sector 11, because that's 4 sectors, only costs me 3 time to do so. So that moves me up to area 9. Ooh, and there are 2 gas clouds between 8 and 11. So that's all of them. So that means also I can go around my board and eliminate all the other gas clouds that are not in sectors 8 through 11. And we also got to keep in mind that every gas cloud is within 3 of an asteroid. So we still don't fully know which one of these down here has an asteroid, but we can start making some guesses how those are correlated, but I definitely don't think we have enough yet. And we also know that once we find a gas cloud, the dwarf planet will not be within 2 of any gas cloud. So I don't think we can really eliminate too much at the moment, but we're getting there. We're slowly figuring stuff out. This moves forward again, and we pass another theory phase. So once again, I like to just submit theories. I mean, we know within these 4 sectors, 2 of them are going to be gas clouds. So essentially, it's like a 50-50 shot. But we also know there's going to be an empty space either adjacent to the gas clouds or between 2 of them. So I think sector 9 has one of the best chances of having one. Let's see if the bot submits a theory. They do not. So these both move in 1, and after the next theory phase, we'll be able to see what's going on in sector 6 and seeing if I was correct in my assumption that there's an asteroid there, which not great odds, but who knows? I think it's worth taking that risk. So then we're back to the bot's turn. They go, and they are targeting sector 7. So they now know what's in sector 7, but yeah, I don't. So they move on up to sector 11, and then this moves forward 1, and it's going to move forward again, but we have hit the Planet X conference, which we only do once the first time this happens. So we click Planet X conference on the app, click Planet X1, and we reveal that Planet X is within 3 sectors of a gas cloud. So I really think we need to find one of these gas clouds soon. Let me jot that down. Okay, this rotates 1 more, and we're back to this. I could search for empty sectors. That's a possibility. I think what I also want to do is target. I didn't write down the result here, but this was 2 for this gas cloud. Yeah, I want to target something, and I'm thinking either 10 or 11. I'm kind of leaning towards 11 because that could also have a comet. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend one of my 2 targets, and I will target sector 11. It's going to be a big time sink, but I'll at least have some info to go off of. This might be one of the gas clouds, and it is. So sector 11 is a gas cloud. Well, now that we know that, first thing I like to kind of do is just make a couple of marks at the top of the sector so I know this one has been kind of fully figured out. We also know that there is no dwarf planets within 2 of a gas cloud. So since we know this is a gas cloud, this will definitely not be the dwarf planet. This will not be the dwarf planet. That will not be the dwarf planet. And that will not be the dwarf planet. So that one little bit of information definitely helps a lot. We also know now that this is a gas cloud, either this space or the space next to it has to be an empty spot. One of those will be an empty spot. Don't know which one, but one of them will be. And that's going to be a truly empty spot, not Planet X that appears empty. But that costed me 4, right? So I believe I am on the 1 spot now. This moves forward 1, and we pass another theory phase. I'm also going to quickly write down my target on, that was 11, and I figured out that was a gas cloud. So now for theory phase, I mean, I know 11 is a gas cloud, so I might as well submit the theory just to get some extra points for it. Let's see if the bot finally submits a theory or not. I clicked the wrong button, submit theory. They submit a theory for sector 12. For sector 12, they haven't done anything in sector 12. That's pretty interesting. What do they know that I don't? because clearly they know something. I wonder if that's an asteroid, because they searched asteroids here. They targeted 7. They also don't know any of the hints I know at the start. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it's an asteroid. So maybe I'll put a dot next to it that, well, at least for sure, we can know that 12 is now not Planet X and it's not an empty sector. Because since they submitted something, it has to be one of these objects, either a comet, an asteroid, a gas cloud, or a dwarf planet. Well, you can see that doesn't leave much left. That leaves one option. So we know that 12 is an asteroid. And that's huge. That's huge. Groundbreaking discovery. Because not only have we figured that out, we also now know asteroids comes in groups of 2 or 4. We know one group is over here, and so the other has to be right next to this one. So we know this is also an asteroid in sector 1. Also, this is a gas cloud. Gas clouds are always adjacent to a truly empty sector. Well, on the one side, it has an asteroid now, so on the other side, it has to be a truly empty sector. So that's that, and that also figures out sector 10. So we now have 10, 11, 12, and 1. All of those sectors are confirmed, hopefully, as long as I didn't make any correct or incorrect deductions there. Okay, so the bot, we figured out a lot just from that bot submitting that one theory. We don't even know what it is, but now I know it's an asteroid. So now we go around and push everything in one space. So now my sector 6 research, we get to see if it's correct. We get to do a peer review. I said it's an asteroid. So what you do for this, you go into peer review, you click sector 6, click the object, it's an asteroid, and I click view results, and I was correct. Sector 6 contains an asteroid. So now we can mark that down, exit out all of this stuff in Sector 6. That's been solved. And then we know also, well, then Sector 4 definitely does not have an asteroid because it can't, because there's only 4 total. They have to be adjacent to each other. So it has to be Sector 5 or Sector 7. I'm going to quickly cross out all the other asteroids. That was a lot of information. We're getting close, but we still need to find one more gas cloud, and then we'll be starting to able to narrow down where the heck Planet X is. But yeah, right now we don't have a ton. But yeah, that was just that theory phase. And now we're back to the bot's turn. So they take, what is this, turn number 4? Yeah, seems like around turn 6 or 7 is when they are able to guess it. So we don't have a crazy amount of time left. And they're searching for asteroids in sectors 2 through 4, which we have already determined that the last asteroid we're looking for is either in 5 or 7, so that doesn't really help us. This moves them 4 to spot number 3. May have had them one spot wrong, but that's okay. And then this moves forward 1 and 2, and we're back to another theory phase. I mean, I know where all the asteroids are, so I'm gonna go ahead and submit a theory for 1. I guess I don't know where 1 is still, but, and I could maybe actually submit one to try to take a gamble here. Maybe that's the better idea, is I submit one for either 5 or 7. 7's a lucky number, right? We'll go with that, sure, why not? And let's see if the bot submits another theory. I hope they do. They submit a theory for sector 5. Make sure that's reading that right. Yeah, so sector 5 they submit a theory for. So let me real quick go into sector 5 and X out that that's not Planet X. It's not an empty sector. Cool. So now we go around the board and push all of the theories in one, and another one of my theories will be resolved. This is for sector 9, which I think is where the other gas cloud is. Let's see if I am right. So we peer review sector 9, clicking gas cloud. Let me make sure I'm doing all this right, because I think that we know 10 is an empty sector, so it would make sense that there could be a gas cloud next to it. And I was correct. There is a gas cloud in sector 9. So let me mark that down. Okay, so I X'd out all the gas clouds. We know 1 is in 9 and 1 is in 11. Now, Let's quickly look back at our Planet X conference. Well, we learned that Planet X is within 3 of a gas cloud. So starting at 11, that's 12, 1, or 2. We already know 12 and 1 does not have a Planet X. So Planet X could be at 2. And then starting at 9, it could be 8, 7, or 6. We already know 6 has something, so 7 or 8. We pretty much have it narrowed down to 3 possible sectors that Planet X could be in, which is great. That narrows it down a decent amount, so we can also then just X out that 3 and 4 will definitely not have Planet X. But now we need to figure out, like, even if we know it's in 2, we still need to figure out what's in 3. Like, we need to figure out the neighboring sectors as well as which one has Planet X. But we're close. Like, this is pretty close, but also there's not too many more turns left, I think, until the bot finds it. It is back to our turn, though, and let me think about what the best course of action is. Also, before I do my next turn, I was just re-looking over my research. I forgot I did research dwarf planets and gas clouds. We know that there's no dwarf planets within 2 of a gas cloud, so there couldn't be a dwarf planet in Sector 8. So Sector 8 is either empty, which we know there's going to be at least another truly empty sector, but then there's going to be one that appears empty, but it's actually Planet X. I know it's not the best move, but I'm leaning towards doing another target. It takes a lot of time. It doesn't give you that much information, but I'm thinking about targeting Sector 3. Just because that'll help narrow down stuff. It might tell me where a dwarf planet is or one of the comets. It might tell me another empty sector. I'm trying to think of a survey I could do that would help me, and I'm not really coming up with much because I'm already thinking my deduction is wrong here. I'm thinking the other asteroid is here, which means this is probably a comet, but it could also be Planet X. See, there's just too much I don't know. I could do another research for how with gas clouds and comets, but that's probably not going to help too much. Yeah, like I said, may not be the best move, but I will use my other target token to target Sector 3. I just need to know what's going on and get some more info. It's probably a comet, but it might be the dwarf planet. And it is the dwarf planet. So let me go ahead and move my thing up to 5. And that's kind of huge. So Sector 3 has the dwarf planet, which means we know it's not empty. We know it's not a comet. So there's only 3 spots that can have a comet. One of them is going to have the asteroid. And then the other 2 are going to have the comet. So I think also that means if we know there's 3 asteroid spots, one of these are for sure an asteroid, either 5 or 7. That's a fact. We know then, well, if there's an asteroid there can't be a comet in one of those spots. There's only 2 comets total. So I think it's safe to say Sector 2 has a comet. I think that's a safe assumption, and that it is not Planet X. So then I think that just leaves it's either Sector 7 or Sector 8. And we'll figure out Sector 7 here in like a couple of research phases, which I think we just did one, right? But that's going to rotate a bit more, but we're not going to hit one yet. Boy, oh boy. I could just take a shot in the dark my next turn and try to guess, which maybe I will, but it also costs a lot of time. So if I'm wrong, that's not going to be good. Because even if I'm wrong with just one piece of information, then that's kind of it. But at this point, I mean, let me look around. Hold on. Because I actually might be able to figure out more with that dwarf planet. Okay, well, this is kind of big because we know 2 has a comet. We know 3 has a dwarf planet. So that also means that 4 has to be an empty sector. So at this point, we've found the 2 truly empty sectors. So that also means 8 can't be an empty sector, 7 can't be an empty sector. So I really think Planet X is in Sector 8. But the issue is we don't really know what's in Sector 7 yet. It's either an asteroid or a comet, and I don't know which at the moment. I feel like I don't have a lot of time to find out, but let's continue on to the bot's turn and see what they do. But like I said, I think in the next turn or 2, they're going to be guessing for Planet X and guessing correctly. So let's see what they do. Right now, they're surveying for empty sectors in 3 through 6. I guess also, I guess I can cross out, I really don't think it is in Sector 7 because we know between 5 and 7, one of them's a comet, one of them's an asteroid. I think Planet X is definitely in Sector 8, but I just don't know what's in 7 yet, so it makes it a little bit more tricky. But we move the bot forward, and we'll at least get to do another research phase now, which is going to be huge. Let me think about what I want to submit. I guess probably, I get the most points for Dwarf Planet, so I'll put that, and let's see what they're doing. So they're submitting a theory for Sector 1. Okay, so that's just probably another asteroid theory. And now we push all theories in 1. So I am 1 turn away from figuring out what's in Sector 7 by research, but that might be too late, unfortunately. So now we can peer review in Sector 11. I guessed there was a gas cloud. I assume that's right. I would hope that's right, and it is correct. Good. Now, how the peer review works for the bot, so they have reached, the peer review part for their theory. How it works is you punch in the sector, and there's just a bot theory symbol that you press. And like I said, they only submit a theory when they know it's right, so we will get a confirmed answer of what's there, which I'm saying that's an asteroid, and this is also confirming that that is an asteroid in Sector 12. Okay. I think it's going to be 2 turns, and then I can solve, but the bot might do it next turn. Because essentially, I could just do a survey. For example, Sector 7 through 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, because that's legal. I can see how many asteroids are there, and if it comes back 0, well, then I know the asteroid is in Sector 5. If not, I know it's there, and the comet's in Sector 5. And then after that, I'll be able to solve. So let's do it. Let's see how many asteroids are in sectors. Let me make sure I'm not cheating, because I can only search the night sky that I can see. Sector 7 through 10. That'll move me forward to 8. That costs 3. And we learn there are no asteroids in Sector 7 through 10. So that means this is solved. We know there's not an asteroid in Sector 11 or 7. So there's a comet, which means the other asteroid is in Sector 5. So at this point, we have solved the entire board. I am saying that Planet X is in Sector 8, 7 has a comet, 9 has a gas cloud. Now, will the bot beat me to the punch? They get 1 turn to try. Let's see. And then they'll also get a final turn, but let's see if they're the ones that get it first. Let me make sure I didn't pass the research. We're good. They didn't. Okay. They're just serving empty sectors 6 through 9. So I'll write that down, even though at this point does not matter to me. They move to Sector 9. This moves forward 1. And then we hit another research phase. Comets are definitely worth the most points, so I will submit 1 for Sector 2. And let's see what the bot submits. They submit a theory for Sector 7. So they're submitting a comet theory as well. Now all theories will move in 1. We got a lot of theories going on at this point. These both move in. Yada, 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 yada. Oh, this isn't good because that's going to be wrong. And then I'm going to move forward 1. They're going to get to go again. That might be bad. But let's go ahead and do some peer reviewing. So for Sector 1, that's a bot. I'm saying that's an asteroid. They're saying the app says that as well. Next, we got a peer review for the bot on Sector 5. So let's go ahead and punch that in. For the bot, let's see, Sector 5. I'm saying that's an asteroid. This is saying that's an asteroid. Cool. Sector 7, my guess is asteroid. At this point, I know that's wrong, but you still have to punch it in because the bot needs to know that information as well. So Sector 7, I'm saying that's an asteroid. Incorrect. So this comes back to me, and unfortunately, I'm moving forward 1. And that was the last one that needed done. So this moves bump, bump. I really hope they don't do it first. But even though if they do, I think I have more theory points, but we'll see. They didn't. So gas clouds in 9 through 12. I don't know why I'm still writing this. I've solved the entire board. I guess just force a habit. But okay, it's back to my turn. and I will attempt to locate planet X. I'm saying it's in Sector 8. I'm saying Sector 7 has a comet, and 9 has a gas cloud. Let me double check that that's right. Sector 8, planet X. 7 has a comet. 9 has a gas cloud. Moment of truth. Did I find planet X? I did. It's all good. I go to the other side of the board. I click continue. I say what sector I am on, and that will dictate what the bot can do as their final action. So let's see what they're doing. And as their final action, they also find planet X. Well, good for them, but a bit too late. I get the extra points. That does mean they're going to get a fair number of points. So now we can end game and reveal the objects, even though, no surprise, I have located everything exactly. It took me a little while. I barely beat the bot, but now we can tally up points to see who actually won. My theories for 3 was correct. My theory for 2 was correct. So let's do a final scoring. First, how many was I the first 2, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I get 2 points per asteroid theory, which I only submitted once, so that's 2 points. I get 3 points for every comet theory, which I only did once, so that's 3 points. 4 points for every gas cloud, I did 2, so that's 8 points, kind of huge. 4 points for every dwarf planet theory, I did 1, so that's 4. And then the planet X bonus, which I was the first, so I got 10. So that leaves me with a total of 32 points, which I had to double check my math because I'm pretty sure that is the highest score I've gotten so far. Now, we can press this button at the top to see the bot score. But first, whatever the score is, I have to add 3 to it because it didn't know how many the bot was the first to. So it'll count the bot score, but then I also will have to add 3 to it, which I don't think it got anywhere close to 32. But let's see what the bot score was. And it was 13. Yikes. So 13 plus their 3, their score was total of 16, exactly half of my score. Was a close game, but I think I did pretty good. So that was the search for Planet X. I'll quickly give my final thoughts. And my final thoughts are, I really like this game. I was a big fan of Turing Machine. Being a big fan of Turing Machine led me to realize I really like deduction games and logic games, so I definitely heard a lot about this game. I like a space theme, and I think it is just great. I like the app-assistedness of it. You really couldn't do a game like this without an app. The app is simple to use, especially for the bot. It takes care of their turn, which I really like. There's just pretty much no thinking on my part for the bot. I just click bot turn or submit bot theory, do the thing for them, and then it's back to whatever I want to do. Overall, I think it's a very fun puzzle. I like that, there's different sides of the board. So you have the standard side and the expert side. And then also there's different difficulties, even if you use whichever board, that you could choose how many hints you get at the beginning, which I like that there's a fair amount of way to change up the game, which I think is cool. You'll get different, obviously the placement of the objects will be different, but then also the research and conferences will be different each game. So there is a fair amount of variability and randomness to the setup, which definitely adds to the overall replayability of the game, which is a big plus for me. Yeah, overall, I think it took me a while to kind of start understanding some of the logic for this game, and especially like how the bot submits theories, like using that to my advantage goes a big way. And then also just kind of learning the game and being like, knowing what to look for and what not to look for and what to cross off, and kind of just getting the hang of the game. Took me a good couple of games. Luckily, the rules are really simple. I was surprised. I was a little not intimidated by this game, but I was like, this might take a while to learn. But once I read through the rule book, watched a video, I was like, this game is actually rules-wise fairly straightforward. There's not too much going on. You have 3 main actions, and then you have 1 to end the game. The actions are pretty straightforward. Most of it's done through the app, so you don't have to do a lot of thinking on yourself or worrying about messing up stuff. It just kind of takes care of stuff for you. I really like the scientific aspect to this. I like that you're submitting theories and doing peer reviews and you're playing as astronomers. I think that's a really cool theme. And yeah, overall, I just like this game a whole lot. I'm glad I finally got to play it. I think it's one that I will definitely keep playing in the future. I'm looking forward to, I think at this point, I've played enough of the game that, I mean, this was a close win, but I've been winning pretty consistently in my last few games, but I have always been playing on the beginner difficulty. So I think here soon I will try bumping up the difficulty so I get less hints at the start. And I also do want to try the expert side of the board and trying that, because it's pretty much the same. And I can flip over my little player mat to show you it's the same. It's just there are 3 more dwarf planets and 3 more dwarf planets and 3 more empty sectors. So all the rules are the same, all the logic's the same. There's just a couple more dwarf planets and a couple more truly empty sectors. So there's 18 total sectors instead of 12. But besides that, it plays exactly the same, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this game. And yeah, I do want to end on a quick note that I was playing this the other day just to kind of make sure I had the rules memorized and, make sure I don't suck for this playthrough. And I had what was the shortest game I have ever had of this so far, where essentially my very first turn, I was doing a survey of 4 sectors. Like I was like 2 through 5 or something like that. And I was searching for asteroids and it came up 4 asteroids. So I was able to find all 4 asteroids on my first turn. I think I did 1 research and 1 target, and after that, I was able to solve the entire game. I solved it in like 3 or 4 turns. The entire game took me like 10 minutes, maybe less than 15 minutes. It was a very fast game, and it was just very lucky, but it was kind of awesome. But this game was close. There was probably some mistakes I made along the way. Maybe there was, I should have maybe not targeted something. There's maybe a better survey I could do, because targets, they do take up a lot of time. But overall, I mean, I won by double the amount of points in this game. I mean, you don't need to be the one. You don't even need to find Planet X, really. You just need to get up the most points. But obviously, finding Planet X gets you a good chunk of points. And the earlier you do it, the better. So, yeah, that's Search for Planet X. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. And until next time, I'll see you.